Just remember, FPL is tough, but you are tougher. Hi guys, I'm FPL Nymphrya and welcome back to the home of FPL videos. All I can say is, Wilson, I'm sorry. Let's take a look at how I got on in Game Week 10. Martinez was a letdown yet again, just 1 point from him. What happened to him? 2 1-pointers in a row now. That is not great. In defence, I was let down heavily by Robertson. I was hoping that Brighton fixture would be fruitful, if not for clean sheets, then at least some attacking threat. Unfortunately, when the attacking threat didn't come, I held on to the clean sheet, only for Robertson to give away the penalty himself. Man, that was tough. He almost left this week again to fund a City player. I am struggling here to hold on to him for that very same reason this week. Even with West Brom around the corner, just 2 points from him doesn't feel like enough right now. Chilwell helped my defence considerably this week with 8 points from his minutes played, clean sheet and 2 bonus points. I wasn't expecting a clean sheet against Spurs, I have to admit, but I definitely won't moan about it. Kufel was neither here or there really. I can't say I expected much, so 2 points were better than none, I guess. In midfield, I had a right headache. My first time this season playing a 5-man midfield. I really wanted either Liverpool or City cover this week, yet I was a tad scared to sell Ziyech given he only came in last week and looked quite promising. Unfortunately, despite his 2 shots and one of them being on target, he couldn't produce anything but 2 points for me, and so it now looks like him to Jota should have been the move all along for me. I would have loved KDB here, but it just meant too many compromises elsewhere and would have meant a massive 8-point hit. However, I might be staring down the barrel of that this game week. A little more on that in a moment. Fernandes has been brilliant since entering my team. This week was no different. It looked bleak for most of that match, I won't lie, but United sprang to life when Cavani came on, and all of a sudden, with a central striker to aim around, Fernandes was in his element. 1 goal and 1 assist from him for 10 points towards my team total. The Sunny 6 was not added to at all this week. It was a tough ask for him against Chelsea. This is where I start to worry about the Sunny 6. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm missing out on players with good fixtures in order to keep Son in for this Sunny 6 commitment, and it is tough. That said, Sonny has Arsenal next, a fixture he could easily romp in, so I don't mind keeping hold for that. Grealish popped up with a goal, which was very helpful, and lastly, Jota was my new addition to this midfield. This week, for a -4, he did get me 9 points, which is a net of 5 points, but as you'll see in a moment, that is not the full story, unfortunately. Moving on to my forwards then, Vardy came in for Kane this week and became my captain because of that. What a difficult match that was to watch. Leicester played so badly and there was no chance of a Vardy party given that performance. I feel really lucky to have got an assist out of that. And the captaincy pulls ahead now in the curse, making it 6-4 to the captaincy pick. Calvert-Lewin was a surprising blank this week, only because we're so used to him doing something every week, and that fixture looked good for an open game with lots of points. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be, and just the 2 points from him. That means these were my top scorers for Game Week 10. Bruno Fernandes and his late rampage, Grealish with his cracker of a shot, and Jota, my new Liverpool addition. So with all of that, here are my points. That's a small green arrow. Feeling lucky to string some game weeks together now, but, and there is a big but here, avoiding the urge to burst into song there, if you know what I mean. Okay, there's absolutely no getting around this. I stuffed up this week. I stuffed up royally. Let's just face that head on. Friday evening, I panicked, and instead of leaving my team alone, the panic over City and Liverpool got the better of me. I just felt like I couldn't miss out. I was right to be scared of both though. They did very well. Unfortunately, I couldn't get KDB in and despite Jota returning for me, getting him in set off a chain of events that has seen me in a much worse position, and I'm much worse off because of it. By buying Jota, I didn't know who to bench this week, meaning I panicked and benched Wilson, who I absolutely knew would score against Crystal Palace, but I couldn't quite bring myself to drop either Grealish or Ziyech instead, especially with Ziyech looking so promising the week before. It also meant selling Anguissa for Jota, who admittedly I would never have started over the others, but has now meant by upgrading Anguissa to Jota, I have now put all my extra funds into one player, and so now I'm even more stuck than I previously was the game week before in order to make moves to get City players in or to get back to Salah. Couple that with the fact that if I had stuck with my original team, the captaincy would still be on Bruno, then all in all, it's not been my best work, despite the green arrows papering over the cracks. If you consider having Bruno's captaincy points and Wilson in this team, I'd have been much better off. Still, we live and learn, and so we look ahead to Game Week 11 then, and this is how I'm currently lining up. I am so lost on how to move forward, it is unbelievable. It's been a long time since I didn't even feel like I could hit my way out of a situation, but that's the problem I'm facing right now. With no fifth cheap option in midfield, I have given myself a benching headache. Ziyech or Jota, it feels like, are my only droppable options this game week, given how Wilson did last game week. But can I trust him to deliver 2 game weeks in a row? Not to mention the issues around if that match will even take place. I can't see any route, no matter how much I rack my brains to get to KDB. Something that is really stressing me out, like big style. Even selling Robertson, I would still need to try and get some money from somewhere, which would probably mean not only selling Ziyech, but selling Grealish for the extra funds. Also meaning another -8. I have considered a straight swap of Ziyech to Mahrez depending on the midweek games, but again, I will have to drop either Wilson, Grealish or Jota to the bench in order to play Mahrez. Please help me, Nim fam. I am genuinely very confused this week, and I genuinely have no idea what to do. I know we can't have them all, but it just feels suicidal to go without City for that next game. And then I get even more confused when I start to factor in my need for Salah the game week after too. I'll be honest with you guys, I feel like I've really stuffed up here, and I really don't know how to fix it. As for my captain, with so many good fixtures this week, there's lots of options. That said, I am mad tempted by Sonny. I can see Spurs running absolute riot against Arsenal. It's going to be horrible to watch and not looking forward to it whatsoever. Makes me wonder why I even sold Kane in the first place. Silly Nim. Bruno and Calvert are equally in with a shout for me. I don't think I'd give it to Mahrez even if I got him in. If I could find a way to KDB, I would consider putting the captaincy on him. However, I'm just not sure I'd feel confident with the minutes in Mahrez. I did write an article for Scout this week that found some surprising stats on Jesus. There's a little bit of me that's considering Vardy to Jesus based on that, but I still don't think I'd captain him, so I'm not sure whether I should risk it or not. And lastly, moving on to the trending transfers this week, let's take a look at the players in and out ahead of Game Week 11. Of the goalkeepers, Mendy is still the trendiest goalkeeper in with 29,000+ purchases at the time of recording. Fabianski is also still the next highest with over 16,000 buys. Pope is the most transferred out goalkeeper ahead of Game Week 11 with 22,000+ sales. The next highest out is Martinez with 12,000+ managers getting rid of the Aston Villa goalkeeper. Of the defenders, the injured Digne sees him leading the way out for sales this week with over 107,000 managers jumping off of the Everton man. Sace is the second most most transferred out with 78,000+ sales. Chilwell is still the trendiest defender in with 70,000+ purchases. Walker is the second most transferred in defender this game week with over 51,000+ purchases. In midfield, Jota is still the most popular with 199,000+ buys. Mahrez is the second most transferred in with over 101,000 purchases. Zaha's illness makes him the most switched out midfielder this week with 150,000+ sales. Rodriguez is still the next highest midfielder sold this week with over 120,000 sales. Up front, Jimenez's horrific injury makes him the trendiest forward out so far this week with 109,000+ managers moving on the Wolves man. Get well soon, Jimenez. Bamford is still the second most sold forward with over 59,000 sales. Wilson is the new frontrunner in the forwards category this week with over 106,000 purchases. Cavani's super sub appearance makes him the second trendiest forward in this week with 55,000+ buys. And that's it, you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll be back this week for another Dream Team stream and the FPL Wildcats. Please don't forget to check out my sponsors of this video, fantasyfootballfix.com. And before you go, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all those fabulous things like hitting the notification bell. Until next time, Nymphree out.